WRTV is working to make sure you are prepared when you head to the polls. We are getting answers to some of the most commonly asked questions when it comes to the process of voting. Megan Sanctorum has more on what you need to know as you make your voice heard.
All of these voters are waiting in line to cast their ballot and make their voices heard. Most came prepared knowing who they're going to vote for, but some still have questions about the process and their individual ballot.
I'm really nervous. I don't really know what to expect on the ballot, kind of where the things will be located.
This is Emma Edwards' first time voting.
Where I put the ballot when I'm done, where I get things, how exactly I fill it out, because I don't want to fill it out wrong.
She's not the only one with questions.
I do see where some voters have questions on how to insert the blank paper ballot into the voting machine. Some voters have questions on whether they should keep hitting next.
They also have staff members on hand ready to answer any questions you might have, like are there rules on who you can vote for?
You do not have to vote a straight party. Basically, a voter can vote however he or she wants. A voter can select straight party, or they can skip that race and individually select each candidate from each political party.
And what if you make a mistake?
The express vote machine allows you to go back, so you can press the back button and you can change a selection.
The clerk's office says they're also getting a lot of questions on the judicial retention section of the ballot.
They don't exactly know whether to vote yes or no.
The clerk's office recommends you print a sample ballot online and do your research at home so you come prepared and help keep the line moving because there's no time limit at the polls.
Voters are trying to research those candidates on their phones, and so that does add to some of the wait times that other voters are experiencing because voters are in the booth a little bit longer than they normally would be.
And lastly, if you want to document your experience,
they can take a ballot selfie, they can take a picture of their ballot. Voters have freedom as long as they are not capturing the votes of another voter.
I hope my voice gets heard and that my vote counts.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, WRTV.
And we will put a link to a sample ballot that you can look at and download when you read this story on our website at WRTV.com. The candidates for governor will hold their second and final debate tomorrow night. As was the case in the first debate last week, the Indiana Debate Commission says Governor Eric Holcomb, Democratic challenger Dr. Woody Myers, and Libertarian candidate Donald Rainwater will each be in separate studios as a COVID-19 precaution. You can watch that 1-hour debate at 7 o'clock tomorrow night at WRTV.com and on the WRTV Facebook page. You can also watch on the WRTV app and on your favorite streaming device such as Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, and Apple TV. And we have answers to all of your questions about voting and the general election. All the info about early voting plus profiles of the candidates on your ballot are at WRTV.com/election2020. It is expected that the United States will have a new Supreme Court justice just later this evening. The Senate is scheduled to hold a final confirmation vote for Notre Dame law professor Amy Coney Barrett tonight. The vote will likely be along party lines, meaning Barrett would become the next Supreme Court justice. Many Democrats object to the nomination so close to the election, especially since Republicans once blocked then-President Barack Obama's Supreme Court nominee right before the election 4 years ago. As of now, that final vote is scheduled for some time around 7 o'clock this evening. Kevin.
The national weather story, Hurricane Zeta will make landfall in the middle of the week. It will have an Indiana impact. We'll talk about that coming up.
INDYCAR closes out its 2020 season with a thrilling race. Looking ahead to 2021, there's a new race on the schedule and some new drivers on the grid. I'm Brad Brown in St. Petersburg, Florida, with that story coming up on the news at 6.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 6, streaming now.
We'll look down to the Caribbean. Yucatan Peninsula is where Zeta will make landfall, then emerge again out into the Gulf of Mexico. This curves. Indications are we'll make landfall somewhere around New Orleans and turn northeast. That's one piece of the puzzle for our rain later in the week. There'll be another weather system that interacts with that has the potential to bring some heavier rain to the Hoosier State. All of this still subject to change just depending on the track of the storm system. But there is no doubt we are in the flow of weather systems now, getting plentiful rain. We're over 4 inches for the month of October. Notice I've jumped to Thursday at 7 a.m. Ongoing rain southern half of the state. It becomes widespread through the day, heavier Thursday night, then pulling away as we get to Friday morning, setting up what will be a dry Halloween and on Sunday. Rainfall potential less to the north right now, more to the south. Could be 2 inches plus from Indy south and 1 to 2 inches to the north, subject to change. So that could put us between 5 and 6 inches for the month. You see the rain a little bit heavier as it comes into Sullivan, also down to Vincennes, moving to the north and the east. That's kind of the transition to the northwest of that area of rain. Temperatures are much cooler. We're stuck in the 40s, which is well below our average high of 62 degrees. Not much changes here next few days. We're in the 40s. Notice the 20s back into the Dakotas. It's in the teens where they have snow on the ground. In Colorado, Denver was 14 last hour. Tomorrow, 49. We make a nice jump as we have a dry day Wednesday. The wind kicks up, temperature around 51, and the rain becomes widespread on Thursday. Tomorrow's chances for rain 20 to 30%. We're guaranteed. Temperatures staying very cool. As you look at Thursday, the wind will become the story along with the rain. And as we move into the weekend, twin 56-degree high temperatures Saturday and on Sunday. Of course, Saturday, Halloween, full moon on a Saturday night, and you've got to flip the clock back. We fall back 1 hour as we go into Sunday. Temperature next week still with some sunshine at 57. So it's cool. That's the way it is. We're all cool, Amanda.
It's definitely a little chilly. Thanks, Kevin. Well, it's a season that almost never happened for INDYCAR. After a delay of more than 3 months, they got on track this summer and yesterday put a wrap on 2020. Big plans and big names for INDYCAR in 2021. WRTV's Brad Brown takes a closer look.
On the marina in downtown St. Petersburg, Florida, a picture-perfect setting for the final race of the 2020 INDYCAR Series season. This saw Joseph Newgarden win the race and Scott Dixon clinch his 6th INDYCAR Series championship. Quite the way to close out what has surely been a memorable year. You might remember back to the second week of March when we were here, when this was supposed to be the opening race of the 2020 season. The pandemic canceled it, and at one point we thought there would be no INDYCAR racing at all. But a monumental effort by the series, the race promoters, the teams, these drivers, the sponsors, to put together a 14-race schedule that ultimately culminated with the championship won by Dixon here on Sunday. Looking ahead now to 2021, what is in store? Well, there's a new race on the calendar, some new drivers on the grid, and a lot more to keep the momentum toward the next green flag moving forward. As the sun sets on the 2020 INDYCAR season, the focus turns toward 2021. There's a little bit of something old, something new on the schedule this year. It will once again be a true test of driving skill, with only the very best contending for the championship.
We kind of cut our teeth. Part of our DNA is ovals, but now street races are a big part of what we do. And they provide great branding, great exposure, international exposure for the cities where we have street races. And they turn into, as has been said, much more than races.
The biggest headline of the summer came from Nashville. The Music City Grand Prix will make its debut, featuring a street course that will not only go around the Tennessee Titans Stadium, but will race the bridge over the Cumberland River.
You know, Nashville's always going to provide great music. The food scene has gotten better. But to be able now to layer in the best drivers in the world, the best teams in the world, we can truly create something that moves the event needle in this town and state for the next 30 years.
We already see Nissan Stadium as a world-class sports and entertainment venue, but we believe there's a next level. And we're going to be working hard to achieve that next level over the next decade or so. And something like the Music City Grand Prix is just pitch perfect.
The IMS Road Course will get an encore show again. The pairing of INDYCAR and NASCAR was largely a success this past 4th of July, so the two series will be teaming up for an epic weekend in mid-August.
I think people are excited about it only because they know that the Xfinity race was so good this year, so hopefully they think that'll carry over to the Cup side. And then, most importantly, having IndyCar and Cup and Xfinity at the same track on the same weekend, we're looking forward to that.
And don't look past new drivers on the grid. Australian Supercars champ Scott McLaughlin will be driving full-time for Team Penske. He made his debut Sunday in St. Pete. And 7-time NASCAR Series champion Jimmy Johnson is getting ready for his IndyCar debut. He'll be racing only on road and street courses with Chip Ganassi